Welcome to Who This On, Season 8, Episode 2, where we watch The Trust, Season 1, Episode 1. And I want something that says I'm better than you. I'm Chris Lorenz.
We can't be pussies. This is Brian.
I call first dibs getting naked in the pool. This is No Singer.
I cheated on my spouse and I was Mormon. This is Max Spare.
Those are all quotes from the show we watched this week. But if this is your first time joining us, each week we watch a different reality show, figure out if it's good or bad. And last week we watched You Are What You Eat, and we put a poll on X, formerly known as Twitter. And we had a tie vote between top third and middle third show.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Noah Singer, you were not here last week.
Yes.
Break the tie for us. What
Yeah.
is it? Is it a top third or middle third show? Or
You
bottom
know his
third?
answer.
It's a top third show. I thought it was produced extremely well, high quality content. It's very persuasive. I think it sold a little bit too much, but ultimately, I found it extremely compelling, and it stuck in my head. And so, for those reasons, I thought it was great storytelling, and that deserves a top show.
Sorry,
right,
great
well-
storytelling is crazy.
Well-
Yeah.
All right, I think we need to get into this, but let's do it after we talk about this show because we don't want to get too far away from the trust that we have between all of us.
Trust.
So, Noah, what is the show we watched this week?
11 strangers receive $250,000 to allocate among themselves. They can either take their fair share or vote each other out to keep more for themselves. That is The Trust, a Game of Greed on Netflix. Da-dum.
Dun-dun. Yeah. So this is an interesting show. It's kind of a game theory show. Like what happens when you put 11 people in a room and you try to, does everyone get $25,000 or do you start backstabbing each other? And obviously you're going to start backstabbing each other because you're picked to be on this reality show. The producers, I think, did a pretty good job of picking people. Like half the people are like, money's my life. I need the money injected into my veins. And some of the other people are like, can we all just get along? Well, socialism, communism sounds great. Let's just take the money and run.
I don't believe that
hippies.
anybody on this show actually had an opinion. They were just doing whatever the producers said to say.
Oh, interesting.
Nobody was selling I really care about us all leaving here equally.
I think that Brian seems like the most person to actually believe that. He was very upset when somebody got kicked off.
Yes.
Spoilers.
Are we talking about Brian on the show, Brian, or Brian with a cowboy hat, Brian?
Same person.
Oh.
That's just Brian in Texas versus Brian in Washington.
Yep.
Yeah, you go to that
That's
state,
the
you
same.
immediately grow a beard and get a hat.
Yeah, the same person. No, Brian in the show, in the Trust show, not in the Who Put This On show, in the Trust show.
Yeah. I'm going to jump to it quickly. The men in this show, they've casted to be a lot more reasonable than the woman in this show.
Well,
Like-
some of the men. Some of the men, I agree with you.
Why don't we go over our lucky contestants?
Let's go over the contestants. So we talk about Brian. He's 42. He's a rancher. And my note for Brian, we talked about the note where he got upset when what's his name left, got kicked out, which we're gonna spoil it. So
Jewels.
Jewels. I was like, who's watching the ranch now? If he's like a single person rancher,
Yeah.
running a ranch is not a thing you can just walk away from.
Very
There's
difficult.
the animals still need to be fed and a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
So
I'm
curious. Brian, reach out to us.
he asked
Who's
you,
watching
Chris.
the ranch?
He asked you. You said no. You could have helped.
And then we got Gaspar. He's 33. I didn't write down his profession. He's
a
one of the
teacher.
teacher. He's one of the naive guys, along with Brian, where he's like, we're all friends here. And then we got Joel's police officer. This is the guy that got kicked off. He got kicked off because he said he was a stripper and he was acting like a real fuckboy.
Yeah.
Which I only think I know what a fuckboy acts like because of Fuckboy Island.
Really? That's your only
yeah.
reference?
And not my only reference, but like, they defined the term for me. And like everyone in the show is acting like a fuckboy. Or what this
Everyone
guy
in
was
the
acting
show?
A lot
in
of
that
them.
show.
In that show. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, he was... Jules is really weird because he was playing a fuckboy character, but in his confessionals, he seemed much more level-headed and like he was playing a character, which could give credence to Max's theory that these are all just characters scripted by the producers.
I mean, I don't really want to play into that game. I mean, like, he was clearly playing a two-faced game where he was telling everyone he was a stripper, but in the confessional, he was like, I'm a police officer. And his lie during the lie game was that I lie about my profession. And I don't know why he didn't just come out. Like, this is why he got kicked off, because he acted shady. He was a shady McShaderson.
He was very self-conscious about being associated with being a cop.
Yeah. And who knows what like lies they wrote down and like when they wrote them and what was the reason they wrote them down for. Or the producers made them up. I don't know. But he was acting like a fuckboy and he was being shady. That's not the only reason he went home, but we'll get into the other reason he went home later. Then we could talk about who else we could talk about. We could talk about wasn't there another guy in this like trust? Jake, 37, the military contractor. No notes.
He wore Bermuda shorts and he briefly wore pink heels that exposed his calves for days.
I mean, well, if we're going to talk about the clothing, we got to talk about Juel's. He only does one button on his shirt.
Yeah, there's a deep V and there is a button-up shirt with one button, like the one right by your belly button.
But that's the deepest V of all. You can't go deeper.
Yeah.
Unless you watch that SNL skit.
So, just a little bit of a side tangent before I lose track of this. The people who produced this show also produced Catching Kelsey. They've been around.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They've been around. They're learning.
Yeah, Grandma's Entertainment.
All right, so let's get into the women here that I feel like are the other side of the show that know what show they're on and are already playing the game. So we got Tolu. She's 26 and a marketing manager. And I'm sorry, I probably butchered that name. I don't.
No, that sounded right.
Olu? Yeah, it sounds fine.
Okay. She was the one that got her vote removed, correct?
Correct.
And she was really pissed about this.
She was being
But before that she was
sure. She's too bad. Yeah, annoying.
But before that she was like, okay, what reason can I give to get somebody the fuck out of here? And like she's looking for reasons so she can try to get all the money.
Yeah.
So she's a little conniving.
Yeah, like, and she, like, she plays. She was talking about how being a black woman is difficult, which no doubt, very much so. But she uses that as why she shouldn't have got her vote taken away on this reality TV show voting round, which felt like a stretch to me on using oppression for this insignificant vote.
Yeah. Let's get back to that later. Let's talk about Julie, She's 28, an entrepreneur. Also part of the Women Trust here that is conniving. So she was one of the ones originally that was like, oh, let's get together with Tolu and somebody, Lindsay, I think. And like, we all got like this like alpha energy. Let's be friends and not like be enemies.
Totally.
Because those are the only two choices, which seems fair. You're in the show. Like, you gotta, this is like such like a Survivor like show. You gotta start making alliances or
Yep.
it's a problem.
No,
I
it's,
like-
it's exactly Survivor, but with less interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the things though is Survivor, you are forced to kick people off. In this show, it's like you don't have to. But people go there, which that's the big difference.
It's a false choice.
Yeah.
I think at this point, it's like the difference between Survivor and this is like once your alliance has kicked all the other alliances out, you've won.
Yeah.
Like you could win. You could theoretically win. Like you could have like a Final Four and that's the Final Four and you win. Or
Yep.
you could get to the Final Four and somebody betrays somebody else. Well, we'll have to talk about this in the trust part, but could theoretically keep the game going, but if you don't have a good enough alliance.
Right. I think like yeah, they just don't cast anyone that is like or seemingly that strategic in a certain way. It's like they seem like either they want to get everyone off or they want to get no one off, right? There's no one like, hey, let's preserve us to the end. Like even these women are look like they're gonna just go after each other once it's done.
Oh yeah, this women's alliance, whew, they're definitely gonna
Yeah.
go after
not,
each other, right?
not long for
soon
this
as-
world.
Yeah. The other person being Lindsay, 43, business coach. And the last person was Winnie, 31.
Mm.
They were the four alliance that kicked off Jewels.
Jewels.
And well, they seem, they're playing the game. I don't want to watch people not playing the game, So there we are. And then we
I don't
got
know. I would have liked watching people be like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do the good person thing and just all split the money. Just hold out for 10 days. Hold out. I would have liked that.
no.
You think
I
that's
don't-
good television?
I think watching them be
Good
baited
people?
and like having to struggle with the money and good people, I think that could be good,
I mean, it's kind of like the first season of The Circle almost. Like the first season of The Circle was like all good people really. Or like they
Yeah.
tried to be good.
That was just more positive though. Like they still played the game, and that was what made it fun. It was good people doing good things, and then also the game was progressing. I don't think it would be good to just like have the people be good in this the entire time.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, we got our last three contestants. We've got Jay. She's on her third marriage, and we can't be pussies. That's
And-
what
Yeah.
I wrote down.
She's like 70 and she has a tattoo on her ring finger.
Ooh, she's on her third marriage. Do you think that was from the first marriage, second marriage, or third marriage?
I think it's from the future, actually. I think it's from the 7th.
Yeah. So I think she's pretty interesting. I think she's kind of funny. She didn't get a lot of time allocated to her this episode. She didn't do too much.
Yep.
So there isn't too much to talk about. But I want more of Jay and less of bitchy alliance. Bitch alliance, itch alliance. I don't know.
Yeah,
Come back to
I
me.
can do without that alliance
Yep.
though.
Then we've got Simone. She's 55, unemployed, and she's got 2 kids. I think.
I believe that was actually not true. I believe she was
Oh.
talking about her 2 plants.
Yeah, her non-binary plant.
Yeah, her non-binary plant Henry.
So she was lying about having kids, I think,
I mean,
to people in
she
the house.
she might think of them that way, but no. Yeah, that was a lie.
Okay.
There's a lot of lying in this show, and not like good ones.
Yeah. So all right, and then the last person we have, which is the worst lie, I think, is Bryce. He's 22. He's a realtor, and he is a millionaire? Question mark. It's so the first game that they do in this show is everyone gave lies, and then they get into a group, and one by one, all of them decide try to guess whose lie this was, and Bryce's lie was, or no, it wasn't a lie, it was a truth, and they had to guess who was telling the truth. Sorry, I'm butchering this. And Bryce, his truth was that I'm a millionaire, and people called him out on him being a millionaire, and then he lied.
Yeah.
Um,
Then what's the fucking point of this whole exercise?
yeah, and like everyone around that was like, Bryce is such a terrible liar. He's definitely the one. I swore he was going to be the first one out, but you know, you can never predict these perfectly. But he's definitely
He-
not long for this game.
He's up. Nobody likes him. He's very clearly a rich kid.
I've got a better question.
Yeah.
You probably chose this for your truth. Why would you choose that?
Again, it's who like you don't know what people put down when they said these truths
Yeah, I'm
or
sure.
why they said them.
Yeah, it was super strange though. Like one, he puts he's a millionaire, but I think to Max, like he might be a millionaire on paper. He doesn't seem to be a self-made millionaire. So it's like a
In no
really
way.
weird, like
He's a
flex.
third generation realtor. I'm sure all the producers had them write 10 facts about themselves, and they chose the juiciest one.
Yeah, you don't really know. You don't really know what show you're going on either. Like, like the first time you know what's going on is like in the intro segment where the host is like, "This is the game." Like, so who knows what you did before that and why you did it. So I don't blame anyone for like their truths here, but that's an interesting truth. And yeah, he in his confessional he's like, "Yeah, this watch, super expensive watch. These shoes, super expensive shoes. I hope no one's paying attention." I'm like, dude, you've got nothing to do all fucking day. Of course they're fucking paying attention.
Yep.
Like, come on.
Yeah,
Definitely
and
gotta
also
remind
same with
myself
the watch.
Yeah, gotta remind myself to mark this as not safe for or content. What is the Apple ask for? Strict content or
Explicit.
whatever. Explicit. Yeah, explicit episode. Yeah. So the trust ceremony was kind of weird, or not the trust ceremony. This is not trust ceremony. It was the truth. The other one was like the cop. I just don't understand why Joel's didn't like confess. Is he think that people really hate cops enough to like?
I understand if you have people actually thinking you're a stripper, they'll be like, "Oh, that dude's probably broke. Let me give him some money." And also,
But
yeah, people do hate cops, so
I mean, sure, but like, okay, so his choices are: don't reveal what my truth is and seem sketchy, or reveal my truth and seem less sketchy, and earn trust. And I think at this part of the game, you got to earn your trust. And I think the people that revealed their truths much more trustworthy than not. But obviously, the further we get from this, like less it matters. But I think that he would have had a much better chance of staying in if he revealed his truth there. That's just my opinion.
I agree because yeah, he had no foundation. Like nobody knew anything about him, and they just see that like he did this negative action.
Yep.
He needed to show something.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the only interesting somebody mentioned in their quote about being Mormon, and there was some weird story with that. Like, she revealed her truth after the ceremony, and I think that did a lot to keep her, like, that builds a lot of trust.
Yeah.
Which doesn't. We know Bryce lost. He's out. I can't believe he's still in this show. But we could talk about the vault for a minute, which is the next section next segment. Like the next day, they're taken to this vault, which is just a room with fake gold bars and fake $100 bill packets, and they're given two options, and two people are randomly selected, which takes forever in the show.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's so long. Like, no one cares to see who picks out these things. Just do it.
Yeah.
Very negative. So the two options they get are take $2,500 off the table, out of the pot, if someone is voted out tomorrow. For the both of you, you get to keep that money between the two people that got sent, or give $5,000 to the pot, but two persons' vote don't count. So we have Juelz and Simone going. They went down into the vault, and they picked give 5,000 but remove two persons' vote, and they removed Brian's and Tolu's, and this is the real reason Jules gets voted out, because Tolu does not take this kindly at all. He's very upset that she lost her vote because she's a black woman, and that's what she says. Not that I can say anything about that. Or anyone else here, I guess.
Yeah, I got nothing to say on it.
Yeah, just a weak way to start it, but it started the game. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like he was going to be a good actual player in the game, and he just decided not to start playing yet.
Yeah.
And it's just disappointing to see him go.
I feel like a lot of shows, the first person to go is seems like they could have gone far.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't kick out the weakest person first.
Right. Like, I think if you show your cards too soon that you're the strongest person,
Yeah.
You tee yourself up. But one of the things that was unclear in the show is if anyone votes for you, then you're out. It was a little unclear.
No,
if someone votes you, or it's unanimous, and I was like, what?
No. So here's what my understanding is if anyone votes, and then there's a majority on one person. So if one person votes for one person, that person is out, because that's the majority. So if
I see.
Simone voted for Juelz, and that's the only vote, Juelz is out because that's the majority. But if Simone votes for Jules and Jules votes for Simone, and there's a tie, everyone's safe. Or if no one votes, everyone is safe.
Yeah. No, I understand. That was not clear to me when they were describing it. I literally watched and I'm like, this makes no sense. I'll just wait for this to come to fruition and figure it out.
Yeah. So when people are going in and not voting, they're hoping, their game theory is that, okay, everyone's going to vote. No one. And we all get to stay in this game. We all get to have fun.
Yeah.
But clearly that's not what happened, and 4 people decided to vote. Well, we don't know who voted for who. It seemed like Jay voted for somebody, but they didn't really show who voted for who.
Also, especially when you still have 12 people in, it doesn't really matter who voted for who. Once it's down to 5 or 6, then sure.
Yeah.
But it was clearly all going towards Jules.
Yeah, so the 4 Women Alliance voted out Juelz because he took her vote, I guess, essentially, because it was his decision. And Simone was like, I don't really understand how Simone gets out of this scot-free, but
she was smart and like communicated appropriately. Like she threw Jael under the bus, and
Well, I think they just didn't like Joel to begin with because he's being too fuckboy to them. Right? Like they were looking for ways to pounce on him.
Oh, for
and
sure.
They just took the shot, you know?
The confessionals definitely, teed up both, I think. But towards the end of the show, the only thing they're talking about is this like vote thing. They're not talking about he didn't wear a shirt and he's got abs and I don't want to look at them or something.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm on the same page. And like the other thing is like they just make Joel seem like he could be just a threat to them, right? He seems like someone who could bring people together and then easily form an alliance against them, so they went after the big dog.
Well, I think Julie almost didn't vote for him. She was conflicted.
In the moment, she got conflicted, yeah. She was talking a big game before.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the end of the episode, which I'm going to give Netflix and this show a prop because they didn't Netflix it. They didn't
That's true.
wait till the next episode to tell you what the result of this episode was. Like it was a full, complete episode, which is insanity. Like I can't believe they did that.
Yeah.
I only think they did.
Pretty
Okay,
rare.
I have a theory. They only did this because the rest of the episode had nothing else going on, so they had to include something to get them going to the end.
Yeah. There's a few things we left out that I think that are important. The prize money. $250,000, $250,000, which it just seems too low for this show.
It's too low to be split.
More. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they needed to go higher. Like they kept saying $250,000. I'm like, guys, come on.
I think they did that on purpose to actually get people to play the game. If you
Yeah,
put like
it's-
500K, everybody's gonna split it okay and be like pretty happy.
It has to sound low. I'm completely with Brian. In retrospect, this makes a lot of sense to me.
So the only issue I got with it was like people are saying it's going to be a life-changing sum of money.
Yeah, okay. Enjoy your $25,000. Like, don't get me wrong. I'd like $25,000. It's not life-changing.
Like if that's life-changing, like there's some real financial things we got to get straightened out.
I mean, for that rancher, $25,000, I think would be almost life changing.
Nah. Ranchers are they go into it with a lot of money often.
Yeah.
Like,
You need
okay,
a
if he
good amount of
inherited
startup
it,
capital. Yeah.
I mean, they always need more capital.
Yeah, it's hard to start. But either way, right? Like 25K is going to be memorable, right? But like life-changing to me is that you literally can lead a different sustainable life. And I just don't think that amount of money is sustainable in any fashion.
Is 250K a life changing amount of money?
yes, for a single person.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's an entire private college education.
I mean, you get a house, you get yourself out of debt. Like, it gives you more options for sure.
Yeah.
Like, no, and I'm not saying that, but it's not like you can retire levels of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be that level to change it.
That's a good point. It could definitely give you like a lot of runway for things you wouldn't have been able to, which can change your life.
I just think that in order for me to be on the show, it's got to be like $1 million. Like I'm not showing up for $250,000. I'm like, this isn't worth my time.
Yeah,
but I'm not on the show.
One other thing I want to bring up, we didn't touch on the host.
Oh yeah.
So it's Brooke Baldwin. She's a CNN correspondent, CNN host, CNN personality.
Former.
Oh, former. Oh, ho. One thing I really enjoyed. So on a lot of reality shows we watch, when they introduce the host, there was a whole segment on, oh my god, it's her, it's him, oh my god, and it's like nobody knows who this person is, and they didn't do that, and I thought that was really nice because nobody would know who Brooke Baldwin was. Not that
That's
she's bad
true.
or anything, and I really was glad they didn't fall into the trope.
Yeah, that's a great call. Yeah, they didn't bother with that, which is a pleasant change.
Yeah, I don't know what she's doing now, but she's not on CNN. She's clearly doing this, whatever, this is. Some sort of
Yes.
vacation for her, probably. In the Dominican Republic, where the show was filmed.
I saw
Um,
that.
okay, good. Because I was like, my sources aren't the greatest.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
somebody
I had
Googled
that
it and
too.
didn't tell me. Okay.
That house though, baller. That'd be nice.
I was definitely I looked over at Vabov, guest host on the show sometimes. And I was like, can we look up this house? Let's see how much if we can rent it, which I'm sure we
Yeah.
can. And that would be baller.
Did you get it? Did you get the deets?
No.
No.
I didn't get all the deets. He stopped at it's in the Dominican Republic. So
Mm,
I don't know.
man. Okay.
But
Okay.
the pool was pretty cool. The villa is a pretty good villa. I'd go there for sure.
Yeah. Soup's
Although in
nice.
the Dominican, I don't know if I'd want to do anything outside like a resort. So maybe.
I'm okay with just hanging out that house. That's cool with me.
Yeah.
Except you're gonna want to go out for food. You're not gonna want to just hang out in the house. Like I don't want to be making you dinner, Noah.
Why not? I like when you make me dinner.
Of course you do.
One of us will cook dinner. It's fine. We'll fall on that grenade.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So should we get into questions? Do we have any other minutia we want to get into before
take
then?
it away.
All right. Who is the worst human being?
Tolu.
Tolu. She's a good candidate.
I'm gonna say Jewels because of his stupid V-neck.
Yeah.
The F boy attitude definitely. I feel like Bryce also for being on the
Ooh.
show and being a millionaire.
I don't like Bryce
not a
at
good
all.
candidate.
Bryce,
I don't
mean,
like
just
him. Yeah. I don't like him. I think he's just immature and trying to become like a social media influencer and taking a shot. But I don't think it makes him the worst person.
No, I'll go with Jules. So let's just do Jules. It is. You suck at Jules. Is this the apex or downgrade for our host, Brooke Baldwin? I would say downgrade, but
Downgrade for sure.
Gotta
Yeah.
be a downgrade.
Yeah, downgrade.
would this show be better as a Quibi or TikTok?
Yes.
It'd be better if it didn't exist.
I don't know about
think I don't think you know the definition of better, Max.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's that stark. Like, I do think you can get shorter because one thing that's really unique about this show is there's no challenges. There's always a challenge to get like immunity or something, and they just do this card thing, which is not that. So yeah, it could definitely be delivered in bite-sized, shorter content.
Yeah, I could see it being a Quibi. I don't know about a TikTok though, and I'm not sure it'd be better as a Quibi. Just could be a Quibi.
Yeah, I agree. I like that characterization.
So we're gonna go with no. Let's do drinking rules.
Drinking.
Drinking rules. Anytime there's like a one-on-one side convo about who you should vote for, or a one-on-one, aka four-person convo, take a drink.
Anytime somebody says the word family, take a drink of Corona.
Noah, you got one?
Still thinking. There's not a lot that happens. So, like,
I got one. Finish your
Yeah.
drink when you enter the vault. You know that's going to happen every episode.
There you go. Got to finish your drink at the end of the episode.
That's a good one.
Or at the beginning, the middle of the episode.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not
I got one. Take a drink every time they change clothes. They change clothes a lot, unnecessarily.
That's a good one. Anytime you see Brian with a cowboy hat, take a drink.
Yeah.
Anytime someone lies terribly, take a drink.
Drink anytime you see the pool.
Brian, we're not trying to kill people.
I've tried to dial it back. This is not killing people.
What about drink anytime somebody's in the pool?
Ooh, that's yeah. I mean, we haven't seen anybody in this episode yet. Somebody's got to get in that pool.
Yeah, that is. I'm like the first thing I'm doing as I'm going in that pool. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
All right. Who's gonna hook up next? They definitely showed some like next this season on, and they definitely showed some like, I think it was Julie and somebody else, maybe Jake.
I can see
I
those
can't
two
remember.
together.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but it's we seem to have lost somebody.
We lost Brian.
Brian.
Damn.
We'll
I
see
did
if
him.
Brian comes back. So I'm gonna go with that. Julie and Jake.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd buy that.
I'm buying it.
All right. Brian's back.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do. What do you love about this show, Noah? What do you love about this show?
I like that I don't have the fake excitement over the host. I like that it gives an opportunity for people to respect other humans. And yeah, I'm gonna stop there.
Max, what do you love about this show?
I liked the house.
Did you love it or did you just like it?
I just liked it. I one thing I didn't like is how all these shows there was no fake excitement about the host, but there was fake excitement about the fucking house and oh my god, you guys, they have beds. Scream your head off. Yeah, they did that in this show too. So fuck that.
Okay, Brian, what do you love about this show?
That it tries to put a positive spin on competition games. It's not that people have to lose. If everybody could play the game correctly, everybody would come away with something. It's obviously not going to happen. It's not entertaining, but they try to play it a little bit differently.
I love that, we didn't have the Netflix normal gotta watch the next episode. And I do like that the game's about to start. I like people started the game. I wish it was more about the game so far, but no one's been playing it so far. So I like this part of Survivor, so I am definitely intrigued by this. This game, this show.
Are you gonna watch more, Chris?
It may happen.
Whoa! Wow!
All right, so we do stack ranking between different reality shows. So we do top, middle, bottom compared to other reality shows, and we've seen a lot.
Yeah,
Max,
do it up.
What do you got? For me?
This is a bottom third show for me. Middle of the bottom because the pacing was good at the beginning and it got so slow towards the end and nothing happened in the fucking show.
Noah, what do you got for me?
I think this is a solid middle show, middle of the middle. There's some positive elements, right? As we talked about, they don't play into the normal reality show shtick tropes that we see a lot. That said, as Max touched on, it's just slow because nothing happens. Nothing. So yeah, I don't think there's that much to watch, and I really just don't like how they take a bite of the apple and decide to leave the Garden of Eden. Could have been much better. And so middle of the middle. I will not watch more, but I'm curious to see how it ends up.
Brian, what do you got for me?
I'm gonna do top of the middle. I am gonna watch more of this show, and I agree that like nothing really happened, but it at least kicked it off at the end, and that's where I have hope for the future episodes.
I think based on this episode, I would put it in the middle third, but on its potential, screw it. I'm gonna put it in the top, just because I see a lot of garbage. I'm gonna put this in the top.
Wow.
I think the casting was done well, and I think that it'll be interesting to see all these votes come up, and hopefully it doesn't get into like catty drama like the challenge kind of does. So it could put itself back down to a middle third, but for now, I'm gonna put it in that top. That's what I'm
Hot
gonna do.
doggy.
Jesus Christ. That's one of your worst opinions yet, Chris.
Thank you, Max.
It's the
Thank you.
season of positivity.
I mean, as you know, I'm really affected by tones of shows, and the tone of the show is pretty good.
It
pretty
is
good
positive.
phone- It's a pretty good phone show. Like you'd be on your phone. You know.
Yeah? Yeah, I buy that.
Yeah, you are a tonal person. That is true. It's a good way of tonal.
Yeah, it's definitely more positive than I shows that are all negative. That stupid baking show. Ugh.
Hmm.
Anyway, talking about top third shows, we have to talk about your opinion on You Are What You Eat, Noah. Because did you watch more? Did you just watch the one episode, the episode 4?
So far, yes. But it is on my to-do to go back around it.
Okay. I just gonna let you know that I don't think you should.
Oh,
Because
Oh.
the last if you listen to that podcast, the last episode
need
is like
to,
the best
yeah.
episode by far because it
Mm.
concludes things and it is more of like, hey, this is a vegan option and this is like, good, I guess, because it's vegan or whatever. And these are reasons to be vegan. The rest of the show is like, eating animals is cruel and salmon farming is terrible and you shouldn't eat meat because it's bad. And like, there's a complete different tone to it. And
Oh, interesting.
I did not like the show, but I thought the last episode was decent. If you listen, you could listen. Everyone listen to the podcast, you get my full opinion on it. But
Okay.
it is quite a conundrum.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I would have thought it would be much more on like, how they set up the competition and then managing the competition with some segues because like they definitely had that in the last episode too. But I didn't realize it'd be so much in the animal cruelty piece. Although I do like that you're getting more education in the other episodes, which I do find intriguing, rather than purely just teeing up the end, which you'd get all the education.
The competition is like not in the show. It's like barely in it. It's like nothing to do with it. It's like I said in the podcast, it's in an infomercial. It's an infomercial on veganism and why you should be vegan and why you shouldn't eat meat.
So, have any of you further considered being less animal eating after watching the show?
Christina said she was thinking about it. My fiance.
I would say, it's definitely a thing I think about, but it didn't budge me. If anything, it made me want to eat meat more.
I
I'd
I
say
was
it
definitely-
opened me up to trying stuff.
I was definitely eating meat while watching the episode.
Perfect.
Oh boy.
That's funny. Yeah, like I think one of the things like I just have a belief in is that we're gonna look back on the way we eat meat specifically today. I'm not as much into the like cheese and milk, also like
Yeah,
full
yeah.
vegan, but I think eating meat. I think 100 years from now, we're gonna look back on the way we eat meat.
As
I don't know if as
barbarian.
strongly as slavery, but it's gonna be. I believe it's gonna be looked in a similar light.
Oh, I agree. I mean, it's undoubtedly the least ethical thing I do day to day.
Yeah,
If
like
we
and-
weren't constantly improving, I would be kind of sad. I would hope that we're going to look back on stuff and be like, yeah, that was maybe like
Yeah.
not the best.
right, and like I think just when I think about that, I'm like, okay, I know that's, or I believe that's the end outcome. Now, we don't have as great of alternatives today, right? Like it's easier to have cheap, tasty hamburger, cheeseburger, McDonald's, right? Like versus like something that wouldn't have meat. But like because I believe in that, I feel a lot of dissonance. And like if I believe that's the outcome, how come I don't own up to it today?
Yeah. Why don't you? Noah.
Lazy. I don't want to pay the money. Realistically, like it takes more effort, right? Like you have to get much more prepared because there's less good options, and then it's a lot more money to have as good of food without meat. You know, unless you plan more, you do more work, right? Which goes to the laziness.
Yeah, I'm sure you could find some sort of meal prep plan that's, I mean, it's more money, but could
Right.
easily get you on that track if you wanted to.
Totally. That's what I mean, right? It's like that's the trade off, and I obviously make it, but I definitely reflect on it. It's like at some point, do I flip that? You know, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't like to think about it because I do think that it's not great, but at the end of the day, I'm going to eat that meat, so I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
All
And I
right.
think that's-
On
That's
that
all good.
note, let's do some shout outs. Noah, you have any shout outs this week, or should we come back to
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, no. I got the shouts. So I'm gonna do a shout to a show I've been watching. It's called Good Girls on Netflix. Not a new show. I might even shout out because I'm in the middle of season 2 and just like going through it slowly. I find it really entertaining. It's like Breaking Bad meets Modern Family. Like I can imagine that's how they pitched it in Hollywood. Season 2, the writing's getting a little bit weak, so I'm hoping it's like a blip and it gets better because there's 4 seasons. But I find it entertaining enough that I'm gonna continue to push through.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that show too. I watched quite a bit of it.
Oh, nice. Did you finish all 4 seasons?
No, but I can't remember where I stopped, and it was just because of a time thing, not like a lack of interest. Well, I guess like then it's just like it's not interesting enough to continue. I don't know.
Do you approve of me continuing to watch it, or am I making a poor decision?
I would maybe say if you like found like there was nothing like changing about it, you'd probably like you're okay like stopping after season 2.
Okay. It's good to know.
Brian, you have any shout outs?
No shout outs this week. Just been a little busy. Haven't had anything to watch.
Max?
Yeah, I've been watching this TV show. It's a little under the radar. It's a little indie. It's called The Wire.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's pretty good so far. And then while I waited for my girlfriend to catch up watching it with me, I watched 2 episodes of something on Apple TV called Blackbird. It's kind of like
Oh, yeah.
murder
I like
murder mystery. It's interesting.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good show.
I do feel like what's his name? The kid is miscasted. Ansel Elgort or whatever kid. he is.
Targan, Egeterin, whatever.
Yeah, Targaryen.
I Taran, man.
Yeah. You're right. I don't know about the casting there, but otherwise it's a good show.
I'm on the internet. Let me try to Taron Egerton.
Yeah, these are all fake names. Ansel Elgort Egerton.
All right. My shout out.
Go ahead.
My shout out this week is Fargo. I'm watching Fargo season 1.
Yeah,
It's great. It was a good show. Very good bingey show. Highly recommended. And apparently there's 5 of these. I imagine some are better than others, but season 1 was great.
season 1
you
is
should
very
watch it.
good.
You should
Very,
watch the
very good.
movie. I like the movie too.
Did you
so-
did you catch the crossover between the movie and season 1?
No, I didn't watch. I watched the movie a while ago, so my movie knowledge is limited.
There is something that happens in both. There's a payoff. It's good.
All right, I'll have to watch the movie. All right, well, that's it for us this week. And next week we're going to be watching. What's the name of the show again? We Are Family on Fox.
You have to
guess
take
we're gonna
the
watch.
shot of Corona.
Yes. Season 1, episode 1, probably. Just kind of hate watching with us because take some drinks. I think you'll need it.
Yeah, this seems like a loser of a show. Just
But who put this on? Who put it on? We got to do it.
we need to figure it out. No, that's our job.
We need to do it.
Yeah.
We need to do it. So tell us what you thought about the current show on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can find us on facebook.com/whoputthison. Can we ask questions and suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. We'll see you guys next time.